Hi, good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here. I am glad to be here, and I'm exhausted to be here. I was just talking with Lori, and I said, man, if there was ever a time when I felt too tired or didn't know what to say on Meaningful Monday, this is it. And she said, well, just get up and tell them that. They said, they need to understand that this is not easy for you. I said, well, then I started thinking about it. What an amazing weekend that we've had. You know, it was a whirlwind week of travel and deviations in travel, if you will. But the nice thing is this weekend, we had the opportunity to drive to Vail, Colorado and spend time at the 12th annual First Descents Charitable Ball. Now, if you go back to 2010, that was the first year that we attended the charitable ball, and we attended it with Nick. The following year, after Nick passed, we received an award posthumously for Nick. And since that time, we've attended most every session, and there's good friends there, and there's stories there. And I could tell you about Captain Galaxy and how inspiring her story is. She's a physician who now is living with cancer and will probably live with cancer for the rest of her life. But the magic of what she's talking about and how First Descents and the work that we've done at Wacky and contributing to First Descents has worked to help her make her life more meaningful. I think there's a lot that I could really talk to you about. Let me just tell you one quick story that happened not at the ball, but on the way to the ball. Friday night, we spent it at Red Cliffs Lodge, one of our favorite places on the planet. It's in Moab. Our good friend Colin owns it. He's been running it, and he's one of the great rivers of the world himself. And he introduced me to a man by the name of David Frey. I had breakfast with David Frey. Now, David Frey is a river. Now, when I say river, I'm talking about thrivers, the rivers of the world. They're not the reservoirs of the world. It's not about how big of a pond can I make. It's all more about how much can I control flow? What kind of a difference can I make on the planet? And if you understand David, David's a successful businessman. He's a former military special ops. This is a guy who's been highly successful, but has devoted his life to elevating the life and restoring the life and the vision and the passion of vets that have returned home, either horribly disabled from physical amputees, double amputees, etc., or that are and otherwise damaged from post-traumatic stress syndrome or similar type things. And because of his background in motorcycle riding, he has introduced them to what he calls AdventureVet nonprofit organizations. He has AdventureVet Motorcycle and Recreational Therapy. He's got a number of other things, but imagine outfitting a motorcycle so that somebody that's a double amputee can drive it and can go on a ride and bond together with people as they maybe drive to Sturgis or go to Red Cliffs Lodge, which is one of their very, very favorite places. But he's also expanded it into the whole aspect of well-being. And so he is a thriver. He is a river. He does not settle to arrive. He's out to do more. And my talk with him, he's a brilliant man, and he's been through amazingly experiences that you or I would never want to go through, but he's learned from every one. May I share with you just one thing that he shared with me, and I intend to share more in the future. That was a very wonderful breakfast. He said at some point, Lee, when you're working with these vets, he says you can't just walk up to somebody that's lost a leg or lost both their legs or blind or something and say, hey, just have a positive attitude, everything's going to be all right. You know, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you. That doesn't go well with them right away. He says you have to work with them. They have to bond with others. They have to feel it. But he said at the right moment, I give them this message. He says, I look him in the eyes and I say, you know, there's only one thing. There's only one thing in your life that is guaranteed on this earth. One thing and one thing only, and that's the fraction of the next second. The next moment you may be guaranteed. And then he works with them to understand that it was in those moments that decisions are made. And that those decisions, they own every moment of their life. They own every choice. They own every decision. You own every choice of your life, every decision, every outcome, everything that you're currently living with. at some point in time goes back to a choice that you made or a moment that you made, and you own it. And it may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility, your opportunity. And he said it with such passion to me that it drove right home, and I felt it. And I want to make that my message to you today. What we do own, what you own, is your next moment. The decisions that we make us in that moment. Yes and no lead in opposite directions and determine the course of our lives. Have a wonderful week. Cherish those moments. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.